We got a massive return coming up, and it looks like the Universal Championship plans have been revealed. And apparently it looks like a former WWE champion just lost their main event scene spot. This is WrestleRound bringing you today's top 5 wrestling news and rumors. Make sure to have those notifications turned on, and let's get right into it. If you like Goldberg just as much as Vince McMahon does, and just as much as he likes to make his return in a Saudi Arabia show, then today you are in luck because Goldberg is set to make his WWE TV return at the Elimination Chamber pay-per-view. Fightful is reporting that the WWE Hall of Famer is booked to challenge Roman Reigns for the Universal Championship at the event. This was a matchup that was supposed to happen basically 2 years ago at WrestleMania, but plans had changed when Roman Reigns was put out of the show as we have entered the pandemic, and so the match was changed to Goldberg versus Braun Strowman. Plans can always change, but as of right now, according to the report, it looks like Goldberg versus Reigns is finally happening. And it's happening at an interesting time because this is supposed to be Goldberg's last match with WWE, at least based on his current contract. There is a huge possibility that they're probably gonna work out a brand new deal, and chances are Goldberg will end up working WrestleMania. Against who? We don't know. Maybe Bobby Lashley, maybe run it back once again, and there might be another former champion that could maybe face Goldberg at WrestleMania, at least based on what fans want to see, and we'll talk about that in a bit. Other matches already confirmed for the Elimination Chamber pay-per-view. We got Bobby Lashley versus Brock Lesnar versus Seth Rollins versus Austin Theory versus Riddle versus AJ Styles. In the Chamber match, the Raw Women's Champion Becky Lynch versus Lita. The SmackDown Tag Team Championship, the Usos taking on the Viking Raiders. Onto some other news. There's no secret that after the Royal Rumble, things have been a little bit sketchy in WWE. New reports from Fightful indicate just how disappointing it is backstage right now. They stated that WWE morale continues to be at an all-time low, and they heard that there are multiple WWE superstars discouraged and disappointed. They added that there is a lot of frustrations with WWE's current direction among these wrestlers. One person said it feels like nothing matters outside of a handful of wrestlers. Several wrestlers feel like they are less heard than ever before, and their attempts to communicate with Vince McMahon are either dismissed, ignored, or end up working against them, which is one of the reasons why they have to resort to social media. Probably why Mustafa Ali went public and announced his release, or I should say request his release, because it hasn't been granted yet. It certainly feels like this might be related to the Shane McMahon story. And an update to all of this, PW Insider ended up indicating that Shane McMahon was said to be frustrated that his idea were basically shot down by his own father. Shane was upset he wasn't being allowed to do what he wanted, and said to be greatly preoccupied with how he was booked. On another report, the Observer indicated that Brock Lesnar and Shane McMahon were actually both pushing for certain changes to the men's Royal Rumble match. Brock is the one who got a lot of what he wanted. Shane McMahon complained to several people as he was not getting what he wanted, and ultimately he apparently behaved unprofessionally. Now, of course, a lot of people been wondering if Shane McMahon is gonna go to AEW. That is certainly something that we probably won't know until he shows up there, if he ever does. Unlikely though, but there is a former WWE star that could be going to AEW very soon. Several former WWE stars became free agents earlier on this week. One of those was Keith Lee, and the Wrestling Observer Radio ended up reporting that Keith Lee may have already decided on his future. They were told that he has been in talk with AEW, and there's even the possibility that he already agreed to a deal. So it might just be a matter of time before we get to see the Limitless One show up. And the last report for the day, we are talking about Big E. Lots of speculation in regards to the former champion, and based on the recent reports, it looks like WWE is done with him being in the main event scene, at least for the main singles title. According to the Wrestling Observer Radio, Big E's main event singles push is seemingly over for now, although it is believed that he could still be an opponent for Roman Reigns later on this this year. But for the time being, as they indicated, the plan on SmackDown right now is to put him back with the New Day, and even if he might face Roman Reigns in the future, he was not brought back for that. So based on all of this, Big E is back in the tag team division, and WWE has dropped him from the singles main event scene. Why this is happening, who knows? It hardly makes any sense considering that WWE built up Big E, and even though he lost the title, they could have still kept him on Monday Night Raw as one of the top singles competitor. This is one of those situations where WWE basically builds up a talent, even push him for like a year and a half until he becomes champion, and then for no reason drops him back down instead of continuing that momentum. Personally, I love Big E with the New Day, but it just doesn't make sense for them to do this so soon already. They could have still put him in the Elimination Chamber matchup, kept him on Raw, and go into WrestleMania, have a big matchup for him to keep that singles push going even without the title. We were just talking about Goldberg. If you go to social media right now, people actually want to see Goldberg versus Big E, and they want Big E to beat Goldberg. That's one of the big speculations right now, or at least what the fans wants to see, but clearly we're not gonna get any of that if Big E is back in the tag team division. So that is all the latest of wrestling news that I got for you guys today. If you enjoyed or found it informative, don't forget to elbow drop it and hit those notifications for more. Stay savage, and I'll catch you on the next one.